Lanka, welcome to the show on another beautiful Wednesday morning. I hope you're up and you're getting ready for your work day ahead. But if you are feeling like you have a lot of responsibilities and obligations going on in your life right now, and you're just not feeling motivated enough to go out there and get done what you have to do, then you've tuned in to the right morning TV show, because this is Good Morning Sri Lanka. You're here with me, Amaya, and of course we have Wasam.
Good morning, Sri Lanka. It's always lovely to just say that line, isn't it, Amaya? And talking about motivation, you seem to be quite motivated this morning, Amaya.
I am. I'm excited about the topic.
And actually, as rightfully you put it, you know what, the one thing I love about this show is the fact that we get up early in the morning, we are here, and we just try our best to drive people. We teach them a lot of things, we talk to them a lot of topics about life enhancement. And this morning, it's going to be the same. And we'll actually be talking a lot about enhancing your life, especially with a vital ingredient that is needed for your day-to-day life, and that is motivation. Isn't it right, Amaya?
Of course. And also, when it comes to motivation, there are so many things that it branches out into: positive thinking and so many other aspects that come in when you speak about this.
I know, especially when you have a lot of things. I know, like all of us as people, Amaya, we have dreams, we have thoughts, we have ideas, but the problem is we just can't get up and get them done, and there is a reason behind it. And this morning we're going to find out what that reason is, and as usual, it's a learning process for us as well. And to learn, as usual, we bring you the experts, and we have two such experts on the topic this morning. And okay, if I'm to introduce them, if I'm to introduce the first guest, we have Mr. Gavin Murray, who is a transformation guru, a leadership and motivational trainer, and a serial entrepreneur. So good morning, Gavin.
Morning, Wasam.
Thank you very much
really
for being with us. I feel the vibe. And the second guest, Amai, would you like to introduce him?
We have Mr. Samantha Kalandagura, who is an entrepreneur himself, and he's also a trainer and consultant of financial management and business development. And he's also into motivational training and things like that. So it's great to have you on the show as well, sir. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you, Amaya.
Good morning.
Thank you, Amaya, as well as Wasim, for creating a very lively atmosphere around here. We love it.
Thank you. And of course, I'm like I said, I do feel the vibe from the time you all walked into the studio. There's motivation all around. So let's get to the topic, and let's talk about the first thing which I'd like to ask you is, why is positive thinking so important? If I'm to ask you, Gavin.
Positive thinking is so important because it really helps us in our lives. Because when we grow up, we go through so much of negatives. Even in the childhood, we get the no's, don't do this, don't do that, from our parents, from our peers, and no disrespect to our parents, but it's a bit of a negative. And when you grow up, in your teens, and when you come into your 20s, there's still a lot of negativity. So individually, we need to really push ourselves for positive thinking. And how do we do that? Well, let's discuss it in this forum. We've got a lot of information, so.
And also, Samantha, if you speak about positive thinking, all right, someone may watch the show today and think, I'm going to be positive. But then they'll wake up again tomorrow and it will be the same cycle all over again. You go back to being bogged down by all the obligations that you have. How do you consistently stay positive? Is that possible?
Well, I believe, yes. There are always downfalls. There are times that things are bringing you down. What I always say is, if you keep hanging on to the things, right, and there is some moment that you achieve it because you believe in the right thing and you work rightly, right, and it can be a huge surprise that you achieve it for yourself alone. So to keep yourself motivated continuously, there are so many techniques around, which I practice myself and perhaps Gavin as well, which we would like to share with you guys. So
of course,
you guys lead us and we'll give you.
Actually, since we're talking about it, why don't you just tell us what are these techniques that you use?
Gavin,
Let me start off. One of the easiest ones is, to be positive is smile, because it takes fewer muscles to smile than to frown. So, but generally we forget about it, because when we grow up, we forget to smile. And it really gives you a lot of positivity for yourself individually, and it also helps so many people around you. with just that little smile, and that's one of the main.
Actually, on the same point, I mean, very recently, I read this article that said that there was a research conducted, especially for call center agents, and they were told apparently just before you pick up the phone, smile, and the rest of the conversation, however tense it may be, always ends up in a good note.
And many of the airlines too. You need to smile.
Oh, I see.
You have to smile. So
I see. But smiling can be quite stressful, especially if smiling is a major part of your job.
yes, actually that's a good point, Vasant, because you got to be able to smile genuinely. That's one point, because sometimes we have the fake smile and people see right through it. So you got to always make sure that your smile is genuine, and also it's important to have the eye contact when you smile. Sometimes we look away, the smile, and they know the smile is not genuine if you don't have the eye contact as well.
And what about you, Samantha? What
Yeah,
do you
so
think are
I
the
will
top-
continue from the smile itself, right? So in the first place, like picking up the phone, entering a new place, right? You come inside with a smile, okay? You never know who is inside, right? Just like I walked into your makeup room down there. So you walk in with a smile, and then you build a very strong connection with the people. That's one thing. And then sometimes you ask, like, it is difficult to smile, right? One thing is because like you might be doing a job that you don't really like. It's not easy, but it takes a little bit of time. You can find the kind of things that you really love to do. Once you settle into this career, smiling becomes part of your everyday thing. Okay, I will continue to one more thing regarding smiles. If you're having challenges on developing your smiling ability, start with the kids, the cats and the dogs, right? So because like adults, they come to your face with so many problems in their mind, right? So you might smile and they might frown you back. You totally feel down when you see that, right? But if you smile at a kid, the kid usually smiles back.
Actually, on that same point, on smiling, I have to ask you this. This is, I just want your opinion on this. Usually, as Sri Lankans in our culture, compared to especially maybe Westerners, you go on the road, you look at somebody, you smile at them, and they smile back at you. And as a result, they say that our culture is like so friendly. Now, as a result, do you think here in Sri Lanka, as a culture, as you know, a country, as a population, do you think we are positive thinkers comparatively to the rest? What is your opinion on that?
I think yes. Since I've traveled to Europe, and in certain European countries, especially if you smile back at a person or you smile at a person, you get a frown because they wonder why you're smiling at me.
That's so suspicious.
Yes, that is the kind
It's
of
like, what's
culture
wrong
that
with
they
you?
have. That is the kind of culture that they have created. When I was there, I tried to smile with a few people. They just look at you, wondering why are you smiling at me? What's wrong with you? But in Sri Lanka, I think we have that culture to smile. And I mean, in the travel trade, which I have been in as well, a lot of the tourists tell us that our country is a land of smiles. Everyone smiles. And I guess Sri Lanka, people should follow how we do it with the smiles.
Yeah,
The whole idea is how do you take that smile and put it into good use?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
And generally, I think like Sri Lankans, I mean, if you look at the country, we have been through very hard times, right? But if you look at the countries of the same size and shape with the same amount of resources around the world, if they went through this kind of hardships for 30 years plus another tsunami, I'm sure you will find a lot of devastation, right? But look at Sri Lanka. Yeah, we have our problems, but we share the place. We are united by the word machang. Smile and
Very, very true. And I find it that men have it easy. I mean, even if they don't remember someone's name, they just say machang and a friend and a buddy and everything is all right with them.
Now it's advanced, now it's bro and brother.
Yeah, little bit of the Western style has come into Sri Lanka. so.
Here and there you'll find a dude here and there.
So remember to smile. Now, that's important. But what else can you tell us about staying positive?
There's another a technique that it was useful for me as well when I was a kid, especially in my teens, is to develop a self-confidence. In positive thinking is sometimes difficult because, as I said, all the negatives that go through. So when you really want to look for the positives, you should try to follow someone, a role model, and follow that person, how that person really does things, how positive they are. And what I call it is act as if. Act as if you were that person, and if you were that person, how would you really act? So it actually really helped me, especially in situations where I need a little bit of positive thinking, a little bit of self-confidence. That act as if really helped me a little bit to develop myself and stay positive.
True. Yeah.
I see.
And on that note, I think we have to go for a short commercial break, but we'll be back with how you can develop your self-confidence right here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.
Hello and welcome back to the show on a beautiful Wednesday morning, a positive one and a very, very motivated one, if I'm to speak. And of course, we have two wonderful guests in the studio with us, Gavin and Samantha, and they are people who actually dedicate their lives into motivating other people in terms of, getting them to stay positive and help them in advancements in their lives overall. So this morning, we at Good Morning Sri Lanka are here to kind of rub those vibes towards your way as well. So without further ado, now I'm going to ask you this question, because we spoke about positivity in the first segment, and we were basically discussing about smiles and about overall staying positive. Now sometimes negativity is something that runs in people as well. You can't help it, it comes subconsciously, but I suppose there are ways to kind of, when you do start feeling negative, there are ways to kind of push that aside and channel it into positivity. So what can you really do in those terms?
So basically, like how I see is, some people are negative, right? As kind of people who are spreading the positive vibes, we should understand them in the first place, because who knows, they must have gone through challenging times in their lives, they have had bad experiences, people might have been bad to them. So in such cases, we have to look at them compassionately and try to understand in the first place, and slowly you have to move them from that negative zone into a positive zone, right? So it's all about creating the positive energy around them. So when you set a nice example to them about being positive and how it helps your own life, in a subtle manner, I would say, like if you boast how awesome you are because you are so positive, these people feel a little awkward, right? So without making it, you have to take them slowly into the positive zone.
Of course.
It's a difficult process, but I believe it's doable.
I see.
And Gavin, earlier you mentioned about having self-confidence.
Yes.
So it's easy to say, harder to do. It's a scenario like that. So how do you really improve your self-confidence and be confident enough to face all the challenges that come your way?
Yeah, well, to basically improve your self-confidence, there is a thing called self-esteem. You should have a self-worth.
Of course.
You should know who you are and how worth you are in terms of your life. And building self-confidence, there are a few techniques. Sometimes when you really want to build it, is just a few things. First of all, you need to look good, right? Sometimes you need to dress well. Just a little few things to just make it better. Be well groomed. Just learn the communication styles as well, because sometimes we are so fearful of public speaking, and that's the number one. When you ask people, they fear the most is public speaking. But when you really ask them, none of them, or even just a few, have really done public speaking. But the reason why they fear it is because of all the negatives that has been informed to them of how fearful public speaking is. So basically you need to do a few things that scare you to really build self-confidence, and public speaking is one. Look good. I mean, just looking good is just one part of being self-confident. So those are a few things that we could.
And self-worth is something that you have to build up through your achievements as well, and your career plays a big role in that. So how do you really move your career path? Now, you spoke earlier about doing things you love, Samantha, but how can you make that transition, and when do you realize the red flags that you should be making that transition now?
Yeah, so basically in your career, there are times that you we'll start it all from motivation. Okay, so to do something you should have a motivation. And what is this motivation? You can draw the diagrams and explain everything, but put it in simple terms. When you do something, do you feel an excitement? Do you feel a wave of heat going around your skin? Do you feel that energy in the morning you wake up? You love to go there, you love to go to that office, just like you guys, right? you guys love coming here, right? Myself, I love going to the lecture room. I'm a lecturer myself, so I love going to the lecture room. So this feeling look for it.
I see.
Right? During your young age, there is a saying called like, until you're 30, work to learn, not to earn.
Yeah.
Right? So until you learn about what you really love and what you want to do, keep trying.
I see. On the same note, Samantha, I mean, when you take people in general, I mean, you and I may be the lucky ones, but there are so many people out there, you know, they go to work every day and it's a curse for them. You know, all they do is they go to work, come back, complain. They're not really enjoying. Sometimes some people have stagnant careers, you know, promotions are low. Sometimes your work environment, they may feel that sometimes the work environment are not taking care of them. And as a result, lots of negativity, lots of dissatisfaction and less motivation. So when you're in a situation like that, what do you recommend? How do you get out of stuff like that?
Okay, fine. In the first place, regarding like hard work, even Gavin also has gone through the same. When you are the lonely entrepreneur, you go through all the jobs starting from CEO until the cleaner, right? So if any employee is saying that work is hard, it's boring and all, of course, there's a tough and boring part of it. I would like to have a six-packs, but going to the gym, right? So in this way, if you feel that work is boring, it's not really like kicking as such, stay focused until like you are going to see something, a light in the end of the tunnel, right? So that is one thing. You keep on staying focused. Visualize all the time, I'm doing some very boring work, very hard work, but visualize in the mind that, okay, I keep doing this for 2 years, and end of these 2 years I'm going to become a manager who is in a more interesting area, right? Visualization, that's number one I would suggest. And I would like to ask Murray about what do you think about it.
Actually, it's Samat is quite right, because you have to, at work, you need to have a reason why you come to work. And one of the main reasons and one way to stay motivated is to have a set of goals. I want to be a manager in 2 years. I want to be the director in 5 years. That makes you motivated to come to our work. Not just the work itself. Work will never motivate you. It has to be something greater than that. So having very, I would say, positive goals and having a time frame for those goals will help you in your career as well, and to be able to stay motivated too.
I see.
And some people use the financial aspect as their motivation, but do you think that's really the right way to go? Just work to earn, even if you have a very high paying lucrative career, is it still the way to go? Finances should be priority, is it, or not? Gavin?
Personally, I would say don't follow the money. The money will come, do what you're good at, get the experience, and then the demand will be there for you. People will be ready to pay any amount for your services because you're good at it. So anyone out there who's pursuing a career, who wants to really go somewhere, all what I say is go for the career, go for the job, not for the money, because that will come.
So in other terms, what you're also saying is that you need to have a realistic and achievable target. You need to dream.
Yes.
So there is this old saying, Amma, you know, they say if you reach for the furthest stars, and sometimes you may just fall in between.
Of course.
Or hit the ceiling.
Hopefully you don't hit the ceiling. We sincerely hope that you can reach your goals here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.
Definitely.
And that's why we are doing this show for you.
And in terms of your personality and getting yourself geared into this, so what are the characteristics in terms of, you know, having like a winning personality?
Well, when it comes to a winning personality, the first thing is knowing what you want to achieve in life. And then you should have a very strong self-affirmation. Right? What you want to achieve, you would commit for that and then put it into action. On these lines, my first boss, Ashanti Fernando, she used to say, success is all about attention for detail and execution. Okay, so I follow this, it worked all the way. I believe it works totally.
We'll see. And how about you?
Well, I feel personality is a brand. It's who you are. So we have different brands, and all four of us here are different personalities, because we think different, we feel different, we behave different, and that's why it's nice to be here. If all of us were the same, it would be very boring. So personality, and one other thing in terms of personality is that a lot of people try to imitate people. But what I always say, do not imitate, just pick up what's required, but always be yourself be your own personality, be your own brand. That's the most important.
So there you are, my words
Alright,
of
so I think
wisdom.
that's all the time we have for you, but thank you so much for being here with us on the show and for sharing your thoughts with us. I
Thank
think
you.
lots of people were motivated after hearing that.
Definitely.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Gavin and
having us.
Samantha.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much
next
for
up,
you as well.
all right, you're welcome. And next up on the show, we have Dr. Neomal Balasuriya, and he's going to be speaking to us about leadership. This is a segment you don't want to miss, so stay with us on Good Morning Sri Lanka.